Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Bash Harry, this is the Harry Knit. I have a haul, and I know I posted one last week, but that one I filmed like in late January, early February, and I kind of forgot to post it until last week. And I just came back from Singapore to go to the Taylor Swift concert. The Eras tour was amazing. I cried, I screamed, I got soaked in the flood for night 3, but it was incredible. And while I was there, I managed to go to 2 yarn shops. I went to 2 yarn shops, Yarning Heart and Tiny Rabbit Hole. I bought quite a bit of yarn, I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to start buying a lot more hand-dyed yarn this year, especially since I wanted to support local yarn sellers from the specific regions I visited. So that's where I bought all my stuff. I have like 2 bags full. This isn't the stuff it came with. It's not a bag it came with, it's just stuff that I separated. And I'm really excited. I love Singapore. It's really, really fun. Fun fact, we have the same exchange rate. So the Singapore dollar is the same as the Brunei dollar. We can use it interchangeably, at least in Brunei. Sometimes in Singapore, it really depends if the shop we go to know that you could use that same money. Some do, some don't. It really depends. But I just absolutely love Singapore. It's really amazing, and that's what's so great about living in Southeast Asia, is that there's so many incredible countries that are so close to you that you can visit, and they're always so different from each other. I want to explore that as I get older, as time goes on. But before we get started, I want to show you this sweater vest. I talked about it in my podcast episode like last month. This is what I'm going to call at least either the Arma vest or the Sungai vest, because it is this very nice sweater vest that I made with cables. I'm really proud of the cable work and design, but the issue was blocking was, is it getting blue? It's okay, I'm trying a new camera. It blocked too big. So this was supposed to fit me it was supposed to be like an oversized vest, maybe like 12 inches of positive ease, but ended up being like 20. So this is actually a bit too big for my body. And so I'm thinking of grading it as a size 5 and then maybe working with a grader to make sure that it fits my size and everyone else's. But I know that grading things with cables can be a bit more difficult. But that is at least the plan that I have for this particular design. I don't know when I'm going to finish it, but hopefully there will be a test call soon. So if you want to keep updated, you can sign up for the newsletter or just follow me on Instagram. I tend to post stuff there anyway, but that is a whole tangent aside. Anyway, let's talk about the yarn that I got. I didn't just get yarn. I also got some notions that I've been really wanting for a while now. And I got that mostly when I was at Yarning Hearts, which is, I think, close to Haji Lane, which is a very popular Gen Z type street in Singapore. I think it was at Bugis Junction or some area from that area. But it is a bit confusing, I will admit, because when I was walking over there, it was raining a little bit. I didn't bring my umbrella. I was getting soaked. I think I wore this shirt as well. But yeah, it was a really nice time. It was just a bit confusing because I don't think I've ever been to that area before, and it was pretty secluded. But when I went to Yarning Hearts, I did get a few things. And I love looking at yarn shops. I think they're incredible. They're so much fun. And I really wanted to get some stuff from there, which I did. I got a lot of stuff. I got some notions. I got some yarns. I think I'm going to start talking about the notions first because there are less of them. And the first one that I got, which I've been needing to get for a while now, is a Knit Pro natural yarn dispenser roller. It's this. So we've seen it all the time. I have a yarn bowl, but it doesn't really work for me because I don't knit from this end. I knit from the middle section, and it has not been good to me having a yarn bowl. I feel like it falls quite easily. So I decided to get this yarn roller dispenser from Knit Pro because it was the cheapest, but also I don't think I need anything that's too expensive. Sorry, that's my phone. I really wanted one that was simple, that was easy, something that I knew that I could just leave in the living room and just knit however I want to. Especially with something like this, I'm really excited to try. It doesn't look so complicated. It was just something that I really wanted in my stash or like in my notions. I've been knitting for 10, 12, 13 years now, and I've never had one of these, which, mind you, that's a long time to not use something like this. I mostly just put it like in a bag and just knit with it, and it just gets so messy so easily. And I think this might actually be a lot more travel friendly, because usually when I knit, if I'm not knitting at home watching TV, I am probably like in the studio knitting in between sets, which is probably, this is a lot more travel friendly than other heavier ones. And this isn't actually that heavy either. I don't think it's that heavy. Let me open it up. Ooh, so it looks like this. And it winds. TMI, but I've actually been using a kitchen roll holder as a makeshift one whenever I'm knitting at home if I'm not using a bag. So this, to me, the fact that it spins around is already so impressive to me. A technical feat of engineering. Try to put it through. Whoa. Amazing. That's so fun. Just get overly excited when it comes to little notions like this. And speaking of little notions that I've got, this one is so tiny. I feel like I should have gotten more, but I decided to just buy one, see if I like it, and then buy more in the future if and when I go to Singapore again. This one is stitch holders. I've been using my cables that I've gotten for my interchangeable needles, which is fine. They work too, but I realize that sometimes they're not the best to use, especially if I am trying to like work on another project. I'm really limited with my choices. So I got this stitch holder, and it looks so, I wanted it neon. I wanted a neon yellow. There was like a hot pink. There was like blue that was selling at Yarning Hearts. And I decided to get the neon yellow one. So that one, because the color itself is so visible and easier to see. So I could see like if maybe a stitch was falling, or if like it didn't look good, or I just needed to look for it. I feel like a neon stitch holder would have been so helpful. But I only bought one because I don't know if I'm going to continue, if I like it. I don't know if I'm going to like it. I will let you know in like 2-3 months if a stitch holder like this is worth it. I did not hear anything about stitch holders until probably, I think I was watching a video by Friday Knits, and she recommended stitch holders. And I was like, oh, I was curious. So I decided to buy one. And it just comes in this little case. I don't know if I'm going to keep it in this case, though. I feel like I'm just going to forget it as soon as it's out of my room, or as soon as it's out of my sight. So I have to keep this somewhere that I know I can find. And then another thing that I got from Knit Pro as well are knit blockers. Looks like this. Can you see it? Yes, you can. These are 12 blockers with 8 rust-resistant pins and 8 blockers with 4 rust-resistant pins. I never used knit blockers before. Surprise, surprise. I've only been using pins that you use for a hijab, like hair pin, like hijab pins, because I just have an abundance of those in my house, which is not great because they're not rust resistant and they are very small, and I do have a limited quantity of them in my room. So I decided to get some specifically for knitting, especially since those pins are a bit more difficult to work with because they're so small. They snag a little bit because they're only one individual pin, whereas stuff like this, which you can see here, I hope you can see the needles, it is quite, it's jagged, or like it's together, right? Like this, that's the 4 size ones. But then they also have these, which have 8 pins. So this would be a lot easier when you're blocking, especially like sleeves or the edges. I think this would be way better for long-term use. And it comes with a box, so I can use these instead of just like my house pins, which would be fantastic. I will try this out the next time I'm blocking a sweater, which is hopefully very soon. I do have a cotton t-shirt tank top that I need to block that has been in my like not quite FO, not quite whip pile for a while now. So I think that is the plan for these. I'm really excited. I'm hoping that they come out really well because I do not want to like waste money, especially for something that is this cool. But I feel like this is in every single knitter, at least like pro intermediate knitters collection. They always have like knit blockers or rust resistant pins. I just didn't have it in my collection, and that's totally fine. Took you 12 years, it's okay. We all have our time with knitting. But that is the 3 notions, accessories that I got for my knitting. Let's move on to the yarn from Yarning Hearts. The ones that I wanted in particular, I was looking for specifically hand dyers based in Singapore, and I did find some, but I also found a few that was specifically hand dyers from other countries. So this one that I got here is, what is this? This is With Autumn Pima Cotton. This is the first yarn that I saw, and I was in love with the color. It pulls a lot more orange, like peachy almost in the camera, but it is actually a very soft golden tone. Not sure why my camera is pulling it off a lot more orangey, but it is like this soft yellow golden color. This is 100% Pima cotton, 100 grams, 220 meters, in the colorway Gold Nugget. And it doesn't really look too saturated. I like that it's like a softer yellow, and I do love Pima cotton. I've worked with it once, I think, for like a tank top years ago, and I don't think I have the tank top anymore. I don't know where it is, but I do remember really loving working with Pima. This is from withautumn.com. Oh wait, it's hand dyed in Singapore. Amazing. And this is hand dyed in Singapore by Honest Hues. I will definitely check them out later on Instagram. I am really excited to work with hand dyed yarns from different countries, specifically in Singapore, because I think they're really cool. And I have some from Parkour Kitties. I had them when my partner came back from Singapore in January. He got me some yarn from them, and I still haven't used them. I'm gonna make some socks, I promise, for myself most likely. But yeah, the reason why I chose this was because there weren't many colors or like yarn weights that were hand dyed and this thick of a material. Most yarns that I found were from like maybe fingering weight yarn, and I wanted something that was slightly thicker. And I'd say this is more of an Aran/DK weight. I need to swatch it to really know what needle size I need to work this with. But I did get 2. I'm hoping to make a tank top out of this. I feel like a lace tank top would look really nice in this color, especially since it's cotton. It'd be very airy, and you can see a lot of the details with this specific kind of yarn. And it's so soft. I really love soft yarn. I know there's like people who love the rustic kind of itchy yarn. It's not for me because I don't like, since I don't wear my sweaters. If I do wear my sweaters out in this country, it has to be on its own. I can't layer it with anything. So a softer yarn that feels better on the skin is much better for me in the long run than something that's really rustic. So this is a good thing. I got it at Yarning Hearts. I can't remember how much it cost. I have the receipt somewhere in my emails, because one thing I've noticed at yarn shops is they sometimes, at least the indie ones, they don't tell you how much the price is, so you just keep adding things to your cart, and you're just like, okay, is it worth it? And then you have that awkward conversation where it's like, is it worth it? It is worth it. At least for me, who doesn't really have a lot of hand-dyed yarns here in Brunei. But this one, I'm really excited to work with. And yeah, I wanna explore more hand-dyed yarns. And speaking of hand-dyed yarns, I did get one skein of this. Look at the logo. Look at the logo. This is Hungry Yarn. You can see the little monster that is super hungry. This is from Singapore. It's Hungry for Yarn, hand-dyed fiber from Singapore. And this is in the colorway Fireworks. I just love the speckles of purples in this like really bright orangey pink tone and a little dash of purples everywhere. It's so beautiful to me. This is 80% merino, 20% nylon, 400 meters. And I'm pretty sure this is like a heavy fingering weight yarn. It's so beautiful. I think that's what caught my eye is the colorway. I don't have a lot of colorways like this. Something that's specifically speckled, pinks, oranges, and like dashes of purples and pinks. And so I'm really eager to swatch this up and see how it looks like. Time will tell if I'll actually use it or it's just like going to be in my yarn collection. But I think it's so beautiful. And they had a lot of different yarns there from Hungry for Yarn at Yarning Hearts. Drink every single time that I say yarn in this video. Don't, it's Ramadan. But yeah, I really admire the colors and I just love how creative all of it is. It really makes me so excited to start working with this. I did, however, only buy one skein. So it's either I'm going to make a pair of socks with this, but for me, I feel like that's a bit of a waste for me personally because I do not wear that many socks out. And I feel like a color like this, I want to show it off in a tank top. So I'm going to try to find a pattern that's like a one skein top. Either I'm designing one or I just find one on Ravelry. I need to make something with this, like a tank top. It might be a very cropped tank top, but it will be shown because I want all these beautiful colors to be seen. And this is merino with a little bit of nylon, so it is probably supposed to be for socks mostly, but I don't know, I think the color is just beautiful, and because it's merino, it's probably going to wear really well with my body and with the type of weather that we have. Another thing that I got, this one, I think, is this from Singapore? No, this is from Italy. This is Ella Ray Watercolours Mercerised Cotton, and this is in the colorway, does it say what colorway? Nocturne. Look at how beautiful this blue is. This is like a gorgeous variegated yarn, and this is 100 grams, 263 yards, or 240 meters. This one is a 21 stitches to 24 stitches by 4 inches using 3.75 to 4.5 milli. So this is probably a sport weight yarn, and I feel like it's a lot similar to, I've used a yarn like this to make a sports bra or like a bralette before, and I think it was from this Turkish company. It was like this blue with speckles, and it was really comfortable because it was a cotton weight yarn. And I just wanted to get two because it's so pretty. I know it's called Nocturne, but it reminds me a lot of oceans and waves and just how the colors play around together like a river. Just seeing it, it's just absolutely beautiful to me. I love the design. And this one, thankfully, is a bit heavier weight. So it's about 4.5 millimeters, which is what I'll probably use it for. And I really do want to swatch this, but I'm too worried about what would happen if I swatch it, because then I know I would immediately have to start working on a project for this. This one is from, I want to say it's from Italy, by Ella Ray Watercolours. It was like in one of the shelves areas where it was a bit high up, and I think it was like shipped. So I was very curious. Mercerized cotton usually means that it has a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's got this color to this shine to it. And some people like it, some people don't. I personally like it, especially when it's a tank top that, needs a little bit of shine to it. Something gives it a more clean feeling, in my opinion. I like the look of it more than a plain cotton. I think if there's a cotton that isn't mercerized, I think it looks a little bit plain, in my opinion. So that's why I wanted to get this specific cotton yarn. And the final thing that I got from Yarning Hearts is this Moya Sui Generis 100% double knit cotton. So this is made in South Africa, and this is hand dyed. It's from Moya yarn in the color Sunshine. I got 3 of these, I believe. Yes, I got 3 of these. It is 100% cotton, although it's very different from the Ella Ray cotton, because it's a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a bit rougher, I'd say. It's a lot rougher in terms of texture and feeling. So I actually bought this thinking I'm probably going to knit up a bag for this. I like the idea of knitted bags, but what I realize is knitted bags need to have lining or they're just not going to work. I have a few knitted bags that I really need to line one of these days, and I think that's the plan for this. This is a double knit weight, so it's DK, and it does recommend 3 to 4 needle size. I'm guessing that means 3 or 4 millimeter needles, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to have to swatch this and see, probably at 4, and then figure out what colors I might need if I want to make a bag in this color. So we do have quite a wide range of yarns from different countries. We've got South Africa, we've got Italy, we've got Singapore. So it was really, really fun to just find all the yarns that we could here in Singapore. I was only there for 4 days, and I went to 2 yarn shops. So honestly, I feel like the haul was well worth it for such a short amount of time that I was there, compared to when I was in Malaysia for, I think, a whole week. And I only went to maybe 1 shop and then just bought there. But that is all I got from Yarning Hearts. Let us move on to Tiny Rabbit Hole. I got this in this Lexus tote bag. I went to one of their events and they sent a tote bag, and it's the coolest tote bag. It's so nice. It's like a farmer's basket. I really like it. I went there. I met up with Neela Mode, who is the sweetest. Fun fact, we met at the Taylor Swift concert, and she gave me a friendship bracelet, and it was the sweetest thing. She was the first person to give me a friendship bracelet, and I thought that was so sweet. And she met my other cousins and my family, and we just hung out for a little bit before the concert. It was really crazy, intense how the concert was. And then I think the next day, I was like, hey, I have some free time. Do you want to still meet up and go to the yarn shop that you were telling me about? So we met up. I forgot where the shop is based. I do remember it was a bit of a walk from the train station. And she just showed me around Tiny Rabbit Hole, and it was so cute. And then we met the owners, who were so sweet. I think they thought I was Filipino at first, and I was like, no, I'm from Brunei. Oh, what are the yarn shops like in Brunei? Not much, that's why I'm here. So that was really fun. And we just started talking about yarn and crochet. A lot more people are definitely interested in crochet in Southeast Asia, which is totally fine. I feel like that's just the general case. Some people think it's much easier to pick up. Not for me personally. There's a reason why I mostly knit instead of crochet. But I did really love what they had, their collection. I think they were doing some renovations or upkeep at their store, so we didn't really want to disturb for too long, but we did buy quite a few stuff when we were there as well. I'll start off with the yarn that we got there. I think we got three yarns from 3 different hand dyers based in Singapore, and we also got this one. This is DMC Natura XL Just Cotton. Looks like this. Of course I chose yellow because I love the color yellow. Don't know if you can tell based on everything about me, but yeah, I used to have a hate relationship, just totally hated the color yellow and pink and everything girly, and then turned 21 and then just like, oop, yellow all the way. But this one is in the color Soleil, which I think means sun in Italian. Somebody in the comments please tell me what Soleil means. But I got 3 of these, and this is 100% cotton, and this is a thick boy. This is probably about 82 yards for 100 grams. I hope I have enough yarn for this because I'm currently knitting up a design for a tank top, which requires a pretty thick cotton. And it's quite hard to find thick cotton. I did get the Abbey Road from Spotlight and I used it and I quite like it. A lot of the cottons that I've found were mostly for bags or for accessories, so they do not feel very comfortable like the sugar and cream. That's good for a bag, but not for like a clothing that you want to wear. It's a bit rough on the skin. This one doesn't feel like that. It's quite soft, especially how the yarn is created like that. I thought it was very nice, and I love the color. I've seen a lot of DMC. I don't remember. I have worked with DMC before, but it was my mom's collection, and I stole it a couple of years ago to make, I think, a bag. So this is the first time I've ever purchased DMC for myself. I'm curious to see how it goes. I know that I bought this specifically because I needed to make a second swatch or design for the tank top that I made. And I think this was a good yarn sub that I found on Ravelry. So I'm keeping that in mind when I'm making this. But we'll let you know how it goes. I'm going to put this here. You can't see like my table. It's just covered in yarn. The next thing I got was from Kaijuu Fibers. I love the names. Kaijuu, I think, is like monster in Japanese, like kaiju films like Godzilla. And this one is no different. It's cute. Look at the logo. It has a little monster with a ball of yarn, just having fun. This is in the colorway. What colorway is this? This is in the colorway Harvest, which is one of a kind, and it is Bambino silk, which means it is 65% superwash merino, 20% bamboo, and 15% silk. We were talking about it when we were at the shop. That is such a unique color, or like mix together, like bamboo, silk, merino. That is a very unique type of yarn base to work with. You can usually find merino with nylon, bamboo on its own, silk mixed with something else, but you don't really see those 3 combinations in a yarn base. And that yarn base, I feel like, is perfect for our type of weather. That's hot, that's might make you a bit sweaty. So this would be absolutely perfect. It is considered a heavy fingering, so one of this is 100 grams, 350 meters, which means I'd probably be using 3.25 or 3.75. I'll probably use 3.5 millimeters for this. and it is this beautiful, I want to say nudish, like a cream color, but it has these little flecks of purple and gold around it as well. And I feel like this is the same as well, and it is definitely from the same dye lot, but I talk about it with some knitters that whenever you do use hand-dyed yarn, especially like this, where you don't know how the colors will look together, you do need to start learning how to do helix, like, work two at the same time, which I'm very nervous about. I've never done that before, but I feel like, especially if I want to start using hand-dyed yarn, I need to learn. So this is probably going to be very nice in my collection of yarn that I also need to start reorganizing one of these days. I really do. You don't see it, but it's a mess over there. I have yarn outside in my living room. I've got yarn in my little corner. I need to start reorganizing my room one of these days. Maybe this week, hopefully, before I leave to KL again this Saturday. I'm filming on Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, and I'm leaving on Saturday. So I have a few videos I need to film before I fly off for 4 days. I'm flying off a lot this year, actually. Which is fun, but also just, I like being home. I like taking it easy. Just when do I have the time? Anyway, that is a tangent. I'm sorry for all my tangents. Let's move on to the rest of the yarn. We also got some yarn from Myyarnstoryco. So I tried to only purchase one type of yarn from each shop, or each yarn dyer, just to test it out to see how it goes. But I've been following Myyarnstoryco for a while now. I found them last year and I really loved their colors. I thought they were so beautiful. So I decided to buy 2 yarns from them. I got this yarn from Myyarnstoryco, and this is the last one that was available. This is in the color Lavender Blue. This is so beautiful. Just look at that color. It pulls off a lot more warmer in the frame for some reason, but it is this very soft pastel blue. And it is 85%, I cannot read this. It is 85% merino, I think, though I could be wrong, and 15% cotton. That is such a unique yarn base, and I love how fluffy and soft this is. It is so beautiful and nice to touch. Oh, it is incredible. I wanted something that was a bit thicker. This is pretty thick compared to the other yarn I'm going to show you later. This is the second to last one, don't worry. But this one has a bit of a thicker base. I think this is like a 3.5 to 4 millimeter needle. So definitely at least on the heavier fingering side. And I love it's a very subtle variegation with the pools of color. So I'm eager to swatch this as well and see how it goes. I think it's incredibly beautiful. You might not agree with me if you don't really like blues, but I love variegated blues and yellows. Anything to do with those colors, I feel like they speak to me on another level that I cannot ascribe. So this is so beautiful. And it's soft too, and 15% cotton, so it's probably really good for the weather. Like the Hungry for Yarn yarn that I got, I only got 1 skein of this, so this is hopefully going to be a tank top as well. I cannot make anything too heavy with this, because if I do and I don't have enough yarn, I'm gonna be so sad. But yeah, I just really love the color. I love the design. I have been so curious about Myyarnstoryco for a while now, so I'm really excited. I finally got my hands on 2 of their yarn bases. This is one of them. The second one, funny story, I took these yarns, I put them on the table to purchase later, and then I was still looking around the shop and I was like, oh, this color is really nice, but I should try to limit myself, so I'll either pick this one or this one, put it on the table. It was the exact same color, it was the exact same yarn, and it is this one. This is the Myyarnstoryco hand-dyed yarn 85% merino, 15% nylon in the color Pressed Flowers. This is 100 grams, 420 meters, and I got 3 skeins of this because I think this will be perfect as a sweater. I don't know what sweater yet, but it'd be so beautiful as a sweater. I love not just the pinks, but you could see that there's speckles of blue right here. There's speckles of almost orange here as well. So I might need to do some helix magic to make sure that these colors pull off really well. But I just think they're absolutely beautiful. This is probably the only one that I got 3 skeins of because I did not want to finish it. I wanted to have something that was beautiful that I could keep my eye on for as long as I can, and I did get it, and I'm so happy that I did. I think for me personally, I want to explore a lot more yarns from local hand dyers, from different artists all over the world, instead of what I can get from like Wool Warehouse, which is my usual go-to, because that's the one that can ship quite easily to Brunei. But that is basically all the yarn and accessories that I got when I was in Singapore. It sounds excessive, which I get, but I just really enjoy it, and I love looking at all of this new yarn. If only I have a place to put it, which is what I need to do this week. I said in the last video, that was in February, did not manage to do that. We'll do it this month. Will force myself to film a video so I remember to do it. But that is about it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please do like, comment, and subscribe. I will have more videos out, I promise. Usually just subscribe and you will find those videos up on your subscription feed. But until then, thank you so much for watching. My name is Bash Harry. This is the Harry Knit, and I'll see you guys later. Bye! Cool. You can click on this. It's really fun if you click on it. Click it. Thank you.